Okay, yeah, I found this tier list actually. Every single card from this new expansion tier list. I'm gonna change these up because I don't like star ratings. Garbage, worthless, fringe, playable, decent, good, auto include is what I'm gonna call it. Um, of course, as always, if you enjoy, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And this is a wild tier list. I don't know why people don't understand that my channel is about wild. Happens so many times that people comment about it, but this is for wild. Okay. Fistful of Corpses. It is a 1 mana spell, Blood Rune, Unholy Rune, and what it does is it deals damage equal to your corpses to an enemy minion. I think the card is probably decent or fringe playable. The issue is that you're not really playing non-even Death Knight and Wild like much ever. The card might be playable if like you know, uh, 2 blood, 1 unholy Death Knight is decent, which a lot of people think it might be. So the card could be probably pretty decent there. I'm just not too sure if it really will be. All right, Pile of Bones. I actually think this card is decent. Uh, yeah, Excavate in Demon Hunter might make the cut in Wild because of this card right here, and obviously the treasure that it associates with it. Um, so because of like the Excavate cards are kind of just okay, but being able to resurrect Reska with Azurite Rat is really powerful. And I think it might just be good enough in Wild, to be honest. Like you play, maybe just play Plague DK with these cards. Doesn't seem that terrible with Excavate. It really doesn't seem that terrible to begin with. And of course, this card is really, really good when it comes to that Excavate package. So I think it probably is pretty decent. Actually, what I was doing is I was going back and forth between the tabs, but I just pull this up here so you guys can see the cards a lot better. So the next card on here is Reap What You Sow. 3 mana, 1 frost, deal 3 damage, excavate a treasure. I think it's decent. If you're playing Excavate Death Knight, it goes with this card, but I think this card, Pile of Bones, is a much better card. I think this card is better because it's such a strong payoff card, but of course you need this card to make it work, so of course that makes sense. So I think putting it in decent is fine. The card itself is kind of not that great. 3 mana, deal 3, excavate a treasure is kind of just like, I feel like all the excavate cards kind of might just cost 1 too much mana on average, like for them to be really good. And I feel like a couple of them are going to get buffed. Probably this one, to be fair. Okay. Farmhand, 3 mana, 4/3, 2 unholy rune, undead. Battle Core update. Discover an undead. Quick draw, it costs 2 less. I think this card's bad. It just doesn't really do anything. Like, it doesn't make you want to play a really anything in Death Knight. It's not even, it's not blood, so you're not playing it really ever. Uh, and it doesn't really go with the current like game plan for triple unholy, which it is double unholy, so you're only really playing in that anyway. It just doesn't really make sense, and I don't really like it very much for what it does. Crop rotation. 3 mana. Summon 4/1/1 undead with rush that die at the end of the turn. I think this is a decent card. The reason I'm thinking of this card is for the supposed 2 blood rune, 1 unholy, control ish, Death Knight. So you wouldn't run this card because it's 2 unholy, so you can't run it in that double blood deck, right? But this is 1 unholy, and it's a lot of corpses being generated for Fistful of Corpses. It's 3 mana 4/4 stats technically, which is pretty good, but it's tokens, so it's give and take. But yeah, this card's probably about the same level as these cards. Skeleton Crew, 4 mana, 3/3 undead, battlecry, excavated treasure. It costs 0. This card's good. Like for excavate Demon Hunter, it's a good card. Why do I keep saying Demon Hunter? Death Knight. It's so annoying. I always get them confused when I talk about them. I don't know why. But yeah, Death Knight, because you make all your excavate treasures cost 0, which if you excavate this as your 4th one, it'll make Azurite Rat cost 0. Azurite Rat is right here, actually. Yeah, 4 mana, 5/5. Battlecry, resurrect your highest cost minion, give it +2/+2 reborn and lifesteal. This is really strong with Reska. You just resummon Reska, it becomes a 8/5 with Reborn and Lifesteal, and then of course it's Reska, and I'll get to that card when we get to it, but yeah, Reska's going to be pretty powerful. Corpse Farm. Spend up to 8 corpses to summon a random minion of that cost. I don't really think this does anything. Uh, uh, Maybe you play it in this like blood unholy deck, but I just probably around here. It might be playable in the deck, but it probably won't be that good, is what I'm thinking. So I think it probably goes about right here. Like summoning a random 8-drop is pretty good for 3 mana. It's just I feel like it's too hard to get before like turn 5. And if you're playing turn 5, you might as well just play Corpse Bride. Spend and summon just an 8/8 on top of Corpse Bride having a 4/4 body. You know? Like it sounds just a lot better for 8 corpses. Harrowing Ox. 7 mana, 7/7, taunt. Battlecry, if you've excavated twice, your next card this turn costs 7 less. So a lot of people are considering Harrowing Ox to be pretty decent when you play it with the 5 mana, 3/4 Battlecry, draw a beast, it costs 3 less. Because you can play this on like you can play this, you can play and then something else, and it's just some mana cheat. You get a bunch of, free 7/7s. That's pretty decent. So a lot of people are thinking it might be okay, and all of the excavate cards are, one or one frost and then an unholy and all that. So this doesn't really hurt the deck in any way. So it's pretty interesting that combo. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's pretty good, all things considered. Maw and Paw. This is one of the cards that you're really doing the blood unholy for. Maw and Paw is incredibly powerful. I think this is an auto include in your decks. This is like what makes you want to. Here, actually, let's change the auto include to want to run this card. You want to run this card. You want to run Maw and Paw. Sure, it has like a mediocre body, right? 1/8 is like not great. It's a pretty decent body. Don't get me wrong. The 8 health, but 1 attack. But the effect at the end of your turn, gain 5 corpses. That's good. At the start of your turn, spend 5 corpses. That's also good. To heal your hero +5 health. This is insane. Like, it gives you it gives you +5 max health, which is that's the Death Knight survivability mechanic. Druid and Warrior, they gain armor, but Death Knight gains max health. And max health is really good. It'll be rough because of Azurite Snake in Standard, but in Wild, Azurite Snake, Excavate, Warlock might not be that good, at least not compared to other things. So that Warlock can do, like Questline Warlock. So I think this card's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Reska. Yeah, you want to run Reska. Reska, the Pit Boss. Rush. Costs 1 less for each other minion that died this game. Death Rattle. Take control of a random enemy minion. Huh? This is so much better than Sylvanas, the new Sylvanas, that's 6 mana, take control of an enemy minion, because Reska will probably cost 0 by like turn 5 or 6, because it's all minions that died this game, not just yours, and it's wherever Reska is. It's not just in your hand. So it's not like, Corridor Creeper, where it has that little downside, but yeah, Reska is an incredibly powerful card. Of course, like I'm saying with Azurite Rat, where's Azurite Rat? It's on here somewhere. Azurite Rat. To bring you all the way up. Yeah, you want to run the cards because of Azurite Rat, right? And Azurite Rat's just incredibly powerful with Reska. It summons Primus if you didn't have Reska die. It's just a very, very very powerful card and or like treasure reward. So I feel like, yeah, the Death Knight cards from this expansion are relatively good. You know, I have sorry, I can't do math. 8 of the 10 cards in the upper tiers. Only 2 of them I think aren't actually that good. Now, Demon Hunter. Oasis Outlaws is the first one. Oops. Yeah, Oasis Outlaws. Uh, 1 mana, discover a Naga. If you played a Naga while holding this, reduces cost by 1. I think it's just a pretty good card, right? Of course, you're playing it with all the other Nagas like Parched Desperado, Blind Eye Sharpshooter. Uh, not this one. Not this one. But or like Vicious Slither Spear or whatever. What's it called? Something Sage, the 2 mana 2/2 Outcast Naga. Playing with that, the Naga Demon Hunter stuff looks pretty interesting. I don't think it's like amazing deck, but you definitely will. People will definitely experiment with it, so it's definitely just gonna be pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. Pocket Sand, 2 mana, deal 3 damage. Quick draw. Your opponent's next card costs 1 more. So this card's kind of fringe. I don't think you ever hard run this card in most situations. It's just not that great. Um, yeah, it's just a kind of not that great card. I don't really have anything else to say about it. Of course, if you're playing the funny uh, Flint combo, you'll be happy to get Pocket Sand, but you're not hard running it, so I don't think it's that great. Midnight Wolf, 6 mana, rush, outcast, summon a copy of this, 6/6 beast. This card's bad. Doesn't really do anything in Death Knight. Demon Hunter. Oh my gosh, dude. It doesn't do anything in Demon Hunter at all. There's no hand buff in Demon Hunter. You don't really want 6/6 beasts. If this was just a Hunter card, I don't know why it's not. I don't know why this isn't a Hunter card. Like, why is this not 6 mana, rush, battlecry, summon a copy of this, 6/6 beast for Hunter? That doesn't really make any sense that's in Demon Hunter. It feels like a huge flavor miss as well to be in Demon Hunter. I don't really get it. But you know what? Whatever. Parched Desperado. 2 mana, battlecry. If you've cast a spell holding this, give your hero +3 attack this turn. That's pretty good. It's definitely not like a want to run, like you want to build your deck around. Here. Yeah, no. It's not like one of these cards where it's like you want to build your deck because these cards exist, but it is a good card, right? In the theoretical Naga Demon Hunter or just like aggro Demon Hunter in general, it's pretty decent. So I think putting it in the good tier makes a lot of sense. What's next? Load the Chamber. 3 mana, deal 2 damage. Your next Naga, Fell Spell, and weapon cost 1 less. It's decent. The issue with this card is that it says weapon. You don't care about weapons in this deck, is what like people are theorizing. So it effectively is just 3 mana or 2 mana. I can't speak. It's 3 mana, deal 2 damage. Your next Naga and Fell Spell costs 1 less. The weapon just doesn't really do much, and actually because of that, if they just made this 2 mana and then removed the weapon line, it would be an incredible card. But because of that you're not getting the full mana discount like that you hope for from this card, it doesn't seem like amazing. And they didn't print a weapon for Demon Hunter this expansion like to synergize with it. The only real 1 mana Demon Hunter weapon is like Dread Prison Glaive, which is like a fine card. It's not bad by any means, but like in Wild at least you're not really hoping to run that. So like I think it's fair to put this card in like decent tier. It'll be ran in this deck, but it's not like a great card in the deck. The next card is Fan the Hammer. Fan the Hammer. Deal 6 damage, split among the lowest health enemies, 4 mana. So this card on its own is worse than Fireball. But if you're running this with Jotun the Eternal, it's a great card. I think, this is just a decent card, right? The spell Demon Hunter, Scythe Demon Hunter, whatever you want to call it, is, happy to have this card. It's not like a great card that like is, pushing it by any means. Like these cards are going to be pushing, the envelope for Demon Hunter, and it's not like you want to play a deck specifically because of these cards. You know, these cards make a deck good, right? But it's still a fine card by all means. It's not bad by any means. You know, I don't really have anything else to say about it. It's just an okay card. Bartendo Bot, 2 mana, battle cry, draw an outcast card, slide it to the left side of your hand. This doesn't really do anything. Like, it's not worthless because it's still 2 mana, draw an outcast card, which in the future could be good, to target it. It's a 3/1 mech. If you really were playing like Menagerie Demon Hunter, it would be decent. Like maybe a Menagerie Demon Hunter is what they're planning next expansion for Wolf and Bartendo Bot, and of course Nagas and Demon Hunters, a lot of demons, so that's 4 tribes. But card's just okay at best. It's not really that great. So yeah, I don't really have anything to say about it. Blind Eye Sharpshooter. This is the card everyone's been waiting for, of course. 3 mana, 1/5 Naga. After you play a Naga, deal 2 damage to a random enemy and draw a spell, then switch. Yeah, this is why you play. This is why you play Naga Demon Hunter. It's a good card. It's just going to be a good card. This card on its own, like in a vacuum, this card is great, but the issue is that there aren't that many discounts and things like that to make it work. That's why a lot of people are talking about quest line in Naga Demon Hunter. Excuse me. Because if you run quest line, you have a mana cheat, which makes this card a lot better because it's going to be drawing cards, draw a spell or draw a Naga every time. So when you use it, it automatically is going to complete the quest on its own, and because of the quest completion, it's going to discount your hand, which makes this card do more. Yada. It just like it keeps cycling all that. It's a pretty good card. I don't really have any reason to put it lower than this. Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes does nothing. This card's just bad. 2 mana, 2/3 Naga, battle cry. Roll 2 dice. Then discover 2 cards of those costs. Doubles get an extra discover. This is just bad. It like literally doesn't do anything like worthwhile in Wild at all. In Standard, you can maybe get away with it because like getting 2 random discover cards up to 6 mana is probably pretty decent in Standard. But in Wild, getting random discovers is pretty terrible. I'm not gonna lie. And then the last card is Kurtrus. So 5 mana 4/4 or 5 mana 4/6. Sorry. Battle Cry. If your deck has no duplicates, fire 6 random 2 damage shots at minions in the enemy's hand. Kurtrus is a very good card, right? It's a good card in Reno Demon Hunter, and Reno Demon Hunter is looking to be a pretty decent deck next expansion, all that. But it's not on the same level as these cards, where these cards make you want to play the deck. These cards make you want to, or these cards make whatever deck they're going into a thing. This is just good in Reno Demon Hunter. It doesn't make you want to play Reno Demon Hunter, but it makes you, but you're not upset with it because of it, right? It just is on a different level than these cards, is what it just is. Rehydrate. 2 mana, restore 7 health, quick draw, restore 2 mana crystals. I think currently it's probably just fringe playable, and like it's a nature spell, so you can play it in like, what's it called? Celestial Alignment Druid, which is, fine. It's an okay deck. It's not very good right now, but you can do it. Really just where it should go is just like a Celestial Alignment Druid. You could maybe play like Auctioneer Druid or whatever, and this would, be okay in that deck. It's kind of not great currently, but it only really goes in Auctioneer Druid and not Auctioneer, Celestial Alignment Druid. And Celestial Alignment Druid is not very good, so this is just how it is. Whew. Take the Skies. Draw 2 dragons, give them +1/+1. This is a good card. It is tutorable, Arcane Intellect that gives your minions +1/+1. It's incredibly powerful. I don't really have any bad negatives about this card. Like, it's just a good card, Spinetail Drake. 4 mana, 5/4 dragon. If you're holding a dragon, deal 5 damage to enemy minion. It's decent, right? I'm not ordering these, by the way. I'm just throwing them in wherever. I mean, sure. But yeah, Thorntail Drake or Spinetail Drake, it's an okay card. You might run it in Dragon Druid. I don't know if it's like an auto include, but it goes in A version of the deck, probably. It's fine, right? I don't really have anything positive to say about it or anything negative, so it's kind of just why it's in the decent tier. Cactus Construct. 1 mana, nature spell. Discover a 2-cost minion, summon a 1/2 copy of it. This is like an okay card. It's just kind of decent. It doesn't really make the cut anywhere, is kind of the thing. Like, there's no real place you want to play it aside from, like, maybe Token Druid, but Token Druid is not very good right now. Maybe they're trying to, in the future, push a spell Token Druid again, where this card could be good in that deck, but as it currently stands, it's not that great. It doesn't really have any place to go into, so I think Fringe playable is about the best it's going to get. Splish Splash Whelp. This is a card, like, you want to run this card. You want to run this card in your deck. 2 mana, 2/1 dragon, battle cry. If you're holding a dragon, gain an empty mana crystal. It's a body that ramps on 2 mana. That's really good. Really, really good. This is like one of the reasons you want to play Dragon Druid, right? That's what the want to play tier is about. This card is incredibly pushing for the archetype, and it's just incredibly powerful. And I don't have anything bad to say about it. Like, sure, it has understated, but who cares, right? It's a minion that ramps you. It's really good. Okay. 4 mana, 3/5 dragon, taunt, battle cry. If you're holding a dragon, refresh 4 mana crystals. This card is so broken. This is like one of the best cards of the entire set. Like, genuinely one of the best in the entire set. This is why you want to play. This is why you want to play Dragon Druid, because of this card. 0 mana 3/5 taunt. If you have 2 of these in your hand, you have 2 0 mana 3/5 taunts. If you discount it in any way, you gain mana. It's so powerful. And then, take to the skies. What? They get stats. You can play this with I think it's called Dreaming Drake, the corrupt dragon from Madness of the Dark Moon Fair. So on turn 4, you play this, Drake, and that's like a crazy amount of stats. It's 3/5, 3/5, 5/6 on turn 4 that all have taunt. Like, that's an insane amount of stats. So yeah, Dragon Druid is one of the coolest decks they've ever made, or archetypes they've ever made. I'm not gonna lie, I love it, but yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. It's just gonna be good. Dragon Tales, 2 mana, choose one. Get 2 dragons that cost 5 or less, or get 2 that cost 5 or more. This card's pretty bad. Fringe playable at best. Maybe it doesn't do anything for Dragon Druid, right? You're Druid, so you already have insane draw. If you're playing this on 2, you're not playing this on 2. High cost dragons are pretty inconsistent, and low cost dragons are bad. Like, you never want to discover or get 2 random dragons that cost 5 or less. You always want 5 or more. But if you do 5 or more, it's like kind of inconsistent is the thing. So I don't think it really is that great of a card by any means. Dragon Golem, 7 mana, taunt, 3/4 dragon. Battle cry, summon a copy of this for each dragon in your hand. It's a decent card. You probably play it in Dragon Druid. I don't really see why you wouldn't. It's just decent. It's really good with all forms of like board buffs and hand buffs. So if you draw this with this, every copy gets buffed. That's good. If you play Survival of the Fittest with this, it's really good. It's just a pretty good, decent card. And like obviously it's slow. It's 7 mana. You have to have cards in your hand, so it has like a lot of conditions, but it's not bad by any means, right? It's just a decent card, the exact definition. Ray Straza. So Ray Straza is, how do I put this? If your deck, yeah, 8 mana, 8/8 dragon battlecry. If your deck has no duplicates, summon the Purified Nest, and I'll click on it, show the Purified Nest. Here's Purified Dragon Nest. At the start of your turn, discover a dragon. It costs 4 or less. That's a decent effect. I mean, it's probably just decent. Reno Druid is currently a thing, and Reno Druid is just like a super value pile deck where you just, you outvalue your opponent, you ramp, you play your big minions and all that. So actually no, Ray Straza definitely goes in that deck. Yeah, it's a good card. What am I talking about? Reno Druid is already like Dreno Druid's a deck that is decent every once in a while. It's never been like a super strong deck, but it's not a deck that you'll have like a negative win rate playing if you play it, if you know how to play it, right? So I think it's a fine card, right? Okay, here's ooh, this card's hard to analyze. I think I'd probably go and want to run this. 9 mana, 4/2 dragon. 5. The Setting Sun. Rush, Lifesteal, Taunt. Cost 1 less for each dragon you summon this game. So you run this, and obviously in Highlander Dragon, because you run Scale of Onyxia and you run Raid Boss Onyxia, which makes this cost 0. But I don't know if you run this in like a dedicated Dragon Druid. Because a lot of people are considering dedicated Dragon Druid to be like a mid-range-ish deck, which probably makes this make the cut, now that I think about it. So yeah, actually, yeah, this probably does make the cut in like mid-range, Dragon Druid. I don't know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I have to like talk through things for my brain to accept them, and I never really talked it through to myself. So yeah, it just happens. Sneaky Snakes. It's a good card, you know. 1 mana, summon 2/1/1 snakes with stealth. You run this in Beast Hunter. You run this in uh every you basically run this in every hunter deck that can really run it, because it's 1 mana summon 2/1/1s with an upside, of course, but it doesn't count as a beast, so it doesn't ruin Selective Breeder, and because it's a spell, any like spell deck can use it. Like Questline Hunter can use it. I don't know if it makes a cut in Questline Hunter. It might be just good enough because having a body is really strong for making trades and stuff to set up things like Dragonbane Shot. But I think the card's just good. I don't have really anything really to say about it. Messenger Buzzard. You want to run this card in your deck. You want to run this in Beast Hunter. You want to run it in Reno Hunter. You want to run it in Knuckles Hunter. You want to run this in every single Hunter deck that can afford to run it, right? 2 mana, 1/2 Beast. Death Rattle, draw a beast. Give minions in your hand +1/+1. Not only does it tutor your best cards, like Knuckles, like Starving Buzzard, like Dreadscale, but it buffs all minions in your hand. So it buffs Thelder in the Lost, and Thelder in the Lost is definitely going to be a good card in Reno Hunter. I don't have anything negative to say about this card. It's card draw in Hunter that is good, right? Like, what else do I say about it? Silver Serpent. This card's fringe playable at best. You might play this just in like a Reno Hunter as your third beast, which is fine, right? It's an okay minion at best. Uh, I'm saying okay at best and putting it in fringe because I don't think it's better than like Hollow Hound as your third beast in Reno Hunter. We already just got Messenger Buzzard as the second beast in Reno Hunter, so it's rough, I'll say. I don't think the card is that great. 3 mana, 2/3 beast, rush, poison, quick draw, gain immune this turn. It's just mediocre. I don't really have anything else to say about it. It just is what it is, right? Meh. Meh. Right? It's just a meh card. 10-gallon hat. 2 mana spell. Draw a minion. Give it +1/+1. And Death Rattle. Gain a 10-gallon hat. I don't like this card. I think it's garbage, worthless, whatever you want to call it. It's one of my least favorite cards ever printed. If it was 1 mana, it would be a good card. If it gave +2/+2 or +2/+3, it would be a good card. If it wasn't Death Rattle to get the 10-gallon hat back, it would be a better card. It wouldn't be a good card, but it would be a better card. Everything about this card works against it. And because of that, it's just not a good card in any means. Bovine Skeleton. 3 mana, 3/3, Undead Beast. If this has 4 or more attacks, summon a Bovine Skeleton. It's like fringe playable. You can run this in uh, Breakfast Hunter, Egg Hunter, whatever you want to call it, and it's decent in that deck. Um, That's the only place it really fits is like that Breakfast Hunter list, and from what I've heard, a lot of people don't really care about it in that deck. So I don't really see why you would ever play it if it's already not good enough to make the cut in the only deck it fits into. But yeah, it's just fringe, right? Because that's what fringe playable just means. It's like it can be ran in that deck, but it's probably not the best. Um, Camouflage Mount. 4 mana. Give a minion +3/+3 and a random bonus effect when it dies. Summon a chameleon. Here's all the chameleons. They just have, random effects. This card feels like it just costs one too much mana. Maybe make it 3 mana +2/+3, and then it would be playable. But it's just one more mana than Ramming Mount, and Ramming Mount's already kind of on the outs of being a playable card. So why this card just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, just fringe playable at best because again, you can play it in a deck and it won't be horrible, but there's just better options, right? And that's just kind of what happens when they print cards that are for Hunter, and every single Hunter card feels like it costs one too much mana. This could be definitely 2 mana. Maybe make this like a 2/1. That'd be fair. This could be 3 mana. Oops. This could be 3 mana. This could be 1 mana. This could be 2 mana. Make it like a 3/2, and then it has the same effect. That'd be fine. They all just feel like they're 1 mana too expensive, and that's just Hunter's burden because of standard. They have to slow Hunter down as a class because of standard. That's why they don't print Face Hunter cards anymore, and it's kind of really sad because Face Hunter is what Hunter is known for, and then it just happens. It's whatever. Saddle Up. 3 mana. Give your minions Death Rattle. Summon a random beast that costs 3 or less. So this is just better than Spirit of the Forest or Soul of the Forest, whatever it's called. The Druid spell that summons 2/2 trance. It's just better. It's a decent card. It most likely makes the cut in Breakfast Hunter, just making your Death Rattles even more valuable to getting cleared, or as a give all the minions summoned by Death Rattles Death Rattle. Wow. Suddenly you have a 3 mana spell that makes you a new board. That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. It's just a decent card. Yeah. Star Shooter. Garbage. Garbage card. 4 mana, 2/3 weapon. After your hero attacks, get an arcane shot. And if for some reason I don't know what arcane shot is, there it is. So you play this on 4, and then you have to attack 3 times before it gives you all the arcane shots. So by turn 7, you have to spend 7 mana to get 12 damage. Huh? Huh? What? Compare this card to Swordfish. Dude, this is like so much worse than Swordfish. It's not even real. And Hunter has desperately been needing a splashable like face weapon. Like Harpoon Gun is a good weapon, don't get me wrong, but it's not that great outside of Beast Hunter. So this is just upsetting to look at. I don't really have anything else to say about it. Felder and the Lost. Easy like top tier. You want to run this card in your deck. 4 mana, 3/4, Battle Cry. If your deck has no duplicates, gain immune this turn and attack all enemies. Synergizes with Messenger Buzzard. It technically synergizes with Hat. If you really want to run Hat, just to hit Felderin and, pray you don't hit anything else, whatever. Yeah, I don't really have anything bad to say about Felderin. He's just a good card. He's pre-nerf Prison Breaker. I mean, he has one less attack, whatever. But Prison Breaker was insanely broken. So I can only imagine that, you know, this card's going to be good. Spurfang. Yeah, Spurfang does nothing, right? Like, 5 mana, 2/5, Battlecry and Death Rattle. Summon a random beast with cost equal to this minion's attack. Huh? Random beasts aren't that great already. Like, this card's already just not that. Like, because of that, you feel a little bad playing this card, but, like, because you can get, 0 mana 1/1. Yikes. But this card just doesn't do anything useful, and if you play this on turn 5 in Wild, you've lost the game, right? So I don't know what else to say about it. Doesn't help you in control matchups. It doesn't help you in aggro matchups. It's not a good mid-range card. It requires a lot of setup to be good. It's just not a good card by any means, and it's kind of upsetting to look at. Mage, Cryopreservation. 2 mana, freeze an enemy, excavate a treasure. I don't think this is that great. It's like decent at best. Freeze an enemy is 0 mana, by the way. Freezing potion. So this is, and then excavate a treasure for 2 mana. That's not very good. This card could easily cost 1 mana and then it would be good, but at 2 mana, it's just not great. I don't really have anything else to say. Heat Wave, 2 mana, deal 2 damage to an enemy minion and its neighbors. Quick draw to all enemies instead. Uh, it's like an okay card. It's like decent. You know, you don't feel bad. You feel great discovering this card in a lot of decks, but I don't think it's really ran in much things. You don't run this in like a quest mage ever because if you, I don't know, maybe you run this in quest mage actually, and it's like it's still a decent card I think, but it's just hard to see where this is played. Maybe like Reno Mage. I don't really know. A lot of mage decks don't want to run spells that aren't like doing something specific, and it doesn't like have a home anywhere. But it's like a decent card, right? So I can't really put it like. I guess fringe playable is correct for it, based on my terms that I've already stated before. So I guess that's probably the best place it's gonna go. Um, Overflow Surger, 4 mana, 3/2 elemental, battle cry. Summon a copy of this for each turn in a row you've played an elemental. Uh, guys. So at best, if you play 1, 2, 3, play another elemental, then play this on 4, it'll give you 5/3/2s. Yeah. Not only do you have to play an elemental every turn to get that, it has 2 health. It just gets destroyed by board clear. Yeah, I just don't think this card's good in the slightest. It's pretty bad, like pretty garbage. No reason to play this card. This card, Sunset Volley, 10 mana fire spell. Deal 10 damage, randomly split amongst all enemy minions. Summon a random 10 cost minion. So, okay. On its own, this card is okay at best, right? But if you play this with Dragon Caster, you can play it on turn 6 or 5 with the coin. And you get a Dragon Caster is a 4/4, deal 10 damage, summon a random 10 cost. That's a pretty decent effect, I'm not going to lie. And in standard, at least, 10 costs are really good. I think this card is just, kind of good. I think this card makes you able to play like a Dragon Mage, right? Which is kind of weird. They didn't support Dragon Mage at all, aside from this card, which is kind of a miss. If they had printed Dragon Mage cards, you'd be happy playing this in Wild. But currently, Dragon Mage is kind of not that good, so like you're not happy to play this, right? Is kind of the thing. But I think it's still a good card. I don't really have anything else to say. Stargazing. 2 mana arcane, draw a different arcane spell if you cast it this turn, or if you play it this turn, cast it twice. This is a good card. You can play this in like Quest Mage, and it's a tutor to draw an arcane spell. You can play it with what's it called? A Light Show, and it will cast Light Show twice. I think this card's just good. I don't know. Like, I don't really like a lot of these cards feel like they don't really have a home currently, but like Stargazing just feels like there's no way it's going to be a bad card. Especially because if you draw like Rewind and you play Rewind with it, and then you just get like 2 ice blocks or something, like what? I don't really have anything else to say about this card. It's just pretty good. Like, yeah. Um, Blast Mage Minor, 6 mana, Battle Cry, excavate a treasure for each card in your hand, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. Whoo, okay. So I would say this card is decent if what? Why is why are the why are all the Oh, I'm so dumb. This is why. Azurite Hawk. This is the treasure you get from Mage. Sorry, I don't know. I'm really dumb. 4 mana, 5/5, Battlecry, get a Titan, it costs 1 less. Random Titans are fine, but they're not great. Especially when you have to excavate 4 times, and this is one of the and one of your all your excavate cards cost like way too much mana. Excavate and Mage is pretty unplayable and wild, I'm not gonna lie, and this isn't that good of a reward. It's too hard to complete, and it's not like Azurite Snake levels of good or Azurite Ox. Like it's just way too difficult to complete for how not strong enough the effect is. Plus, because sometimes you could get like I don't know Golganath, which doesn't really do all that great for you, or or you could get Khazgaroth, which is like okay at best. You know, a lot of the Titans when they're not in their class are kind of just okay. You know, Uh, it's just not that great. I don't really have anything else to say about it. This card's pretty bad. Like, fringe playable at best in like 4 excavate. Let's go find you. Like, you're decent, but you're not as good as this one, which is you want this effect, you know? Azurite Vein. 3 mana secret. When the enemy plays a card on the turn that it entered their hand, get a copy that costs 0. This is bad. This is horrible. This is like one of the worst. I even said it. This is the worst mage secret ever. Uh, it's like Mana Bind but worse, and Mana Bind sucks. I I don't really get what the purpose of this card was. Maybe if it said like all the cards they played that turn that entered their hand, it would be good. But only 1 card. If you play like, I don't know, if you play like a coin, you could just get a coin, right? It's just bad. It's just so bad. I don't have anything good to say about it, so I'll move on. Reliquary Research. If you've excavated twice, cast 2 random mage secrets. So this card never even had a chance to exist in Standard because of this. This card never got a chance. And it literally isn't even out yet. It's garbage. I mean, I guess fringe playable is where all the excavate cards are going to go. Yeah, I don't really have anything good to say about them, so I'm just going to move on. Tailthalon Blood Watcher. Cards that didn't start in your deck cost 4 less, but not less than 1. Okay, so this is one of the cards that is theorized to synergize with Flint and let you do a lot of crazy Flint stuff. You play bounty board. This costs 2. Then Flint will cost 1. So that's what? 9 mana, and then you can play infinite cards. Meh. I don't think this card really works. For wild, really. Like, I'm trying to think of where you would play this, but it just doesn't really work, you know? There's nothing that really gets done because of this card. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't really do much of anything. So I think just, fringe playable is the only place it can really go. You can do that combo, but it's not great. Mezzadune the Fractured. That's the last one. 6 mana, 6/5 elemental. Draw an elemental, split it in 2 halves. So what it means is, say you have something like Ragnaros. You draw Rag, you get 2 4-mana 4/4 Rags. If you have Baron Geddon, you draw Baron Geddon, you get 1 3-mana Baron and 1 4-mana Baron, and then one of them will have 3 attack and 4 health, and the other, or one of them will have 3 attack, one of them will have 4 attack, one of them will have 3 health, one will have 4 health. This card's terrible. This card does literally nothing. Like, it's so garbage. Mage got some pretty bad cards this expansion, now that I'm looking at it. Like, all of these are in fringe. 3 of them are in garbage, and then 2 are in good. I'm not. I don't think anyone is looking forward to playing Mage this expansion. So because these cards are just not good. You know, like what else is there to say about it? Paladin, Holy Cowboy, 3 mana, 4/3, Battle Cry. Your next holy spell costs 2 less. It's just a decent card, right? Maybe good. It's probably fairer for it. You play this in like a Reno Paladin, and that's kind of the only place I can really think of where it goes. It's just a decent enough card. It doesn't really have any place in the current game. It kind of feels like of what it can do. Discounting holy spells never really matters because not most of them discount themselves, or there's no holy spell that's like super powerful on its own. So it just kind of is like you know, it kind of just is like that, you know. It's just good card. I don't really have anything else to say. Lawful Long Arm, 5 mana, 1/5, Rush, Lifesteal, Battle Cry. Gain +1 attack for each card in your hand. If you play this in like Reno Paladin, it'll probably be like a 7/5 on average. That's pretty good. I don't really got anything else to say. It's just pretty good. It's about as good as Holy Cowboy. Just decent. You know, it's a lot of stats with Rush Lifesteal. What else is there to say? It's just a pretty good card. Prismatic Beam. Oh yeah, this is going. Wanna run this card. 7 mana. Deal 3 damage to all enemies. Costs 1 less for each enemy minion. This card's great. Like, this card is nuts. I don't. There's you run this in so many different Paladin decks. It's just a good card. I don't really have anything else to say about it. It's just really good. It synergizes with Showdown incredibly well. It synergizes with freaking Rabble Bouncer and like Volcanic Drake. Dude, no way. Yeah, it's just a good card. That's all you can really say about it. There might be a world you even run this in Odd Paladin. That sounds crazy. Don't hear me out. You could maybe run this in Odd Paladin because if it gets down to like 3 mana, deal 3 to all enemies, that's pretty good. I don't really have anything better to say. That's just a good card. Hi-Ho Silverwing. Just good. 2 mana, 2/1 dragon, Divine Shield, Death Rattle, draw a Holy Spell. You play this in Call to Arms, and you feel good about it. You already currently don't run, sorry, you don't run Knight of Anointment in Call to Arms because, well, it's a Battle Cry minion, and Battle Cry minions that cost 2 or less are kind of bad in Call to Arms, but this is a Death Rattle minion. It's just a good card. It's better than Shielded Minibot. It has 1 less health than Minibot, sure, but yeah. So it's just a good card. Lay Down the Law. 2 mana, tradable, holy spell. Set a minion's attack and health to 1. Quick draw, then deal 1 damage to it. It's a decent card. You probably play this in like Reno Paladin, because it's just the fact that it's like a tradable card is decent enough, and if you can quick draw it, it's a spot removal for 2 mana. That's pretty good. It's just pretty decent, pretty good. It's not on the same level as these cards, I feel, because you know it has like more of a condition of quick draw to be able to do anything, you know. But it's just a decent card at best, you know. It might not even make the cut, and I might be talking out of nowhere, but it's whatever. Deputizing Aura. Oh my god. Okay. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Up here. Up here. Deputizing Aura. 3 mana holy spell. Your leftmost minion has +3 attack and lifesteal last 3 turns. This card's so broken in Hand Buff Paladin. Right? You can play this with Crab Rider, and it makes Crab Rider a 4/4 with lifesteal. And, you know, Rush, Winifred. You play with Samuro. You can play this with charge minions. If you play Boar, play this on Boar on the left. It's a 4/1 Boar. Then you can play another Boar on the left, 4/1 Boar. Then you can play Deckhand, 5/1. Deckhand, 5/1. That's 18 damage. This card just dealt 12 damage. If you If you buff those 4 chargers 1/1, that's 22 damage. If you do it again, that's 26 damage. If you do it again, that's 30 damage, dude. And this is half of it. Like, it's so powerful in Hand Buff Paladin. There's just, this card makes you want to play Hand Buff Paladin. If you follow my Twitter, you should follow my Twitter. Plug, follow my Twitter. It's in the description. Anyway, if you do, you saw that I posted 2 separate lists about these cards, about Paladin cards in general. I'm just so excited for Paladin this expansion. It'll be probably the first deck I play, is that Charged Paladin deck, or at least one of. Yeah, I can't say how much better this card is. I can't. Showdown. Yeah, again, you want to run this card in your deck. Showdown. 2-mana spell. Both players summon 3/3 outlaws. Give yours rush. That doesn't really make much of a difference. But you say, wait a minute, you're giving your opponent minions. Isn't that bad? Yeah. It makes this card 3 mana cheaper. Uh-huh. I hear you thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, whoa! Exactly. You play these cards together every single time. Every time you have this card in your deck, you want this card, and vice versa. They just are so good together. Yeah, Showdown just, it's also 2 mana and 9/9 in stats. That's really good, like, especially because, of course, Prismatic Beam. It's just a great card, and again, because they have Rush, it synergizes with Deputizing Aura. It's almost like Paladin has a cohesive theme of what it wants to do this expansion that a lot of other classes don't. Mage, Hunter. Yeah, Paladin has cards that synergize with each other, and some classes just don't. And it's kind of weird that we have an entire expansion of cards, and that the dev team can't make cards that synergize with each other at all. Don't know why, but whatever. Just happens. God, what is this card called? I don't even remember. Living Horizon. 10 mana, 4/6, Taunt Divine Shield. Costs 1 less for each other card in your hand. Why would you ever play this? This is bad. So, think of it this way. Paladin has Light Ray. Light Ray will cost 0 if you play not 10 Paladin cards. Or 9, or whatever it is now. It might be 10 still. And you can draw it off Curator. And Light Ray is a dual tribe card that when you draw it off Curator, you can play both. Okay. You can play Devout Pupil. Devout Pupil is 6 mana, 4/6, Taunt, or it might be 4/5. Taunt Divine Shield, costs 1 less for each spell you've played on. I think it's just spell you've played this game. So this card's just worse than 2 cards. It's just such a bad card. It just does literally nothing. Like, why was it printed? Yeah, Spirit of the Badlands. 3 mana, 3/4, Undead Beast. Battlecry. If your deck has no duplicates, get a permanent Mirage. Mirage is, at the start of your turn, transform into a copy of a minion in your deck that stays in your hand. Good card. Just good. It makes your duplicate deck, or your Highlander deck, effectively have duplicates. It's not super consistent, as, of course, having duplicates, but it's just good. You obviously run this in Reno Paladin every single time. There's no reason. If you're not running this Reno Paladin, I don't know what you're doing. But, yeah, it's just a good card. I don't have anything else to say about it. The Badland Bandits. 6 mana, get 8 3/2 bandits with bonus effects. Any that can't fit in your hand are summoned instead. So this is supposed to synergize with this card and this card. This card is good. This card is bad. So maybe this card is really good. Nope, no it's not. Of course we know what bonus effects are. It's just generic keywords that are used a lot. It's supposed to be about Snow White, but Sandy Red, Snow White, yeah, whatever. This card's terrible. Like, this is a horrible card. Because, at best, you summon 7 3/2 bandits with bonus effects for 6 mana. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's bad. That's not even good if you're doing it, is the thing. And at worst, you get 8/3/2 bandits with bonus effects in your hand, and they're all 2 mana 3/2s. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's just bad. This card's like genuinely terrible. Like this is a one of the worst cards ever printed bad. Like this is so horrifically bad. Like I don't even know what else to say. Okay. Um Holy Spring Water. 2 mana, restore 8 health to a damaged character. Save any excess in a 1 cost bottle, and then oh, it doesn't show up. Well, oh, there it is. 1 mana, restore excess health. Yeah, whatever. That's how the bottle mechanic works. And guess what? It's bad. So the reason I'm not putting it in garbage is because you can play it with um I don't know what it's called, but you can play it with all the cards that swap the healing effects to damage effects. And then it's 2 mana deal 8 damage, which is really, really good. Also, it has to be a damage character, which is a little awkward, but still. Um, yeah, that deck is already fringe playable. This goes in a fringe playable deck. Sure. I don't really have anything else to say about it. Uh, why did that do that? What? Sorry. Injured Hauler. 3 mana, 3/7. Battlecry. Deal 4 damage to this minion. Overheal. Deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. Uh, uh so Control Priest isn't a thing in Wild. Reno Priest is a thing in Wild, but Reno Priest is already also not a control deck currently and won't be again for probably a long time. And you don't run healing effects, especially for minions in Reno Priest. So, of course, Overheal, like combo Priest, was a thing. It was bad. You could play it with like Hedonis, and it was just bad. Uh, yeah, I don't have anything else to say. Tram Heist, 4 mana. Get a copy of each card your opponent played last turn. Doesn't say Shadow. Doesn't do anything. It's just not very good. It's not as bad as these cards, but it's just not good, you know? Uh, no, it is. Actually, what am I talking about? They go down there. I added seasonal play. Makes more sense, I guess, than saying garbage worthless. Oops. What's the next one? Impressive Shade Leaf or Invasive Shade Leaf. 4 mana Shadow spell. Deal 8 damage to an enemy minion. Huh? Save any excess in 1 cost bottle. Huh? Huh? Why is this 4 mana? What? I don't get it. This card's bad. This card's like terrible. Seasonal play. Swarm of Lightning of Light Bugs. 5 mana. Summon 10 1/1 Light Bugs with Lifesteal. Save any excess in a 1 cost bottle. Why is this 5 mana and not 4? It's hard just seasonal play at all. It's just so bad. All of these priest cards are bad. Like these cards, they're just all bad. What's next? Thirsty Drifter. 6 mana, 4/6 taunt. Costs 1 less for each 1 cost card you play this game. So this is a good card. I'll put it in decent for right now. It is a card that will probably see play in the future, but right now it just doesn't have a home. So I think decent's fair for it. It just really doesn't have a home. It's supposed to go with like light bugs and this and pip, but it just doesn't do anything currently. If it works with Radiant Elemental, which it shouldn't, because you're not playing a 1 cost card if you're playing with Radiant Elemental. But if it does work with Radiant Elemental, it'll be a good card. It'll be another minion that you can cheat out. But of course, it shouldn't work because of how cards got changed to their mana cost. Their current mana cost matters with when things like Geist got like updated and stuff like that. So this card probably won't work with that, but it might see play eventually. You know, just as just a decent card. I don't really have anything else to say. Benevolent Banker. 3 mana, 2/4, Battle Cry. Discover a spell from your discover a spell from your deck. Quick draw an enemy deck instead. Uh, Good card. This is Thrive in the Shadows on a stick with quick draw. Steal a card from your enemy. Yeah, it's a good card. I don't have anything else to say about it. There's nothing else to say about it. It's just a good card. You run this in Reno Priest. You run this in almost anything you can think of. Maybe not Shadow Priest. It might be too slow for like Shadow Priest, but still, just good card. Um, Posse Possession. Summon a 4/4 copy of a random minion in your opponent's hand. Shadow. I play this versus even Shaman, and I get a 4/4 Anchor Totem. Woo! I play this versus Pirate Rogue, and I get a 4/4 Patches. Woo! This card's so bad. It just does nothing. It doesn't do anything. Like, it just doesn't do anything against any deck. Like, what do you care to copy of this? Odin? Odin's a battle cry. You know? Like, it's just worthless. It's literally a worthless card. Pip the Potent. Battle cry. Copy each 1-cost card in your hand. Uh I feel like these cards go together. Pip can be used with combo decks like the aforementioned heal OTK kind of priest deck that this would go into, but it can be used with a little bit more. It could be used with whatever deck runs Thirsty Drifter to make it work better. You can copy Knight or not Knight, Void Touch Attendant, which is really good. You can copy Mad Bomber, which is really good, or Shadow Bomber, which is really good. You can copy Mind Spike, which is really good. That's mainly what I'm thinking is you could run this in Shadow Priest and just copy all your really good cards, and it's decent at that. Shadow Priest's main issue is just after it blows its load, it has to have enough burn to kill you, and this, doubles your burn, which is pretty decent. I think Pip the Potent's just a decent card. Ooh, Elise Badland Savior. I haven't looked at this card since it came out because it's just not worth looking at. 8 mana, 5/5. Battle Cry. If your deck has no duplicates, summon 4/4 copies of random minions in your deck. This card's bad. Never sees any play. You don't play this in. You don't play this in Reno Priest at all. It just fundamentally doesn't work. I don't understand the point of this card. Everything about it is bad. The effect is bad. The body's bad. Why is it not at least an 8/8? It doesn't synergize with Big Priest. It doesn't synergize with Reno Priest. Reno Big Priest will never be a thing because you have to run things like Zephyrus in your deck or in Reno and Raza for Reno Priest. And why would you want to play that in a Big Priest deck? Don't understand this card. It's so horrible. What is Blizzard doing with Priest? Horrible, horrible, like unplayable, 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 unplayable. Not great. Decent, decent. Priest got shafted this expansion. Like, holy Blizzard. Okay, Bloodrock Co. Shovel. 1 mana, 1/3 weapon, Death Idol, Excavated Treasure. It's like Fringe. Excavate in Rogue isn't very good. The reward is pretty bad. Let's look at it here. Azurite Scorpion. Battlecry. Get 4 random spells. If you've excavated 8 times, they cost 0. The first time you get this, it's bad. The second time you get it, it's fine. Or it's good. You have to excavate 8 times in Wild in a deck that has no control tools. Yeah, you can understand why this is bad. So that's why this card is fringe at best. Let's go grab the Scorpion, put him in his place. Wow, it's almost like you can tell how good a class or the excavate card classes will be by their reward. Mage reward is mediocre. Rogue reward is mediocre. Death Knight reward is really, really strong. Yep. Stick up. Discover a quick draw card from another class. Actually, can it show me all the options? No, that's a little weird. I don't know why it wouldn't. But this card is probably like, decent. I don't know specifically what you would play this in, but it's not a bad card by any means. Because quick draw cards from other classes are pretty good on average. But, probably Fringe is more realistic. It's just not that good. Triple sevens. 7 mana, deal 7 damage to a minion, draw 7 cards. In a class that has gear shift and uh what's it called? Hit secret passage and all that, why would you ever play this card? It's so horrible. It is horrible, horrible. Like I don't understand why the devs are like so proud, I would say, of these like utterly unplayable cards because like they will a lot of these like really bad cards. The devs are talking about like how they're really awesome designs, and all that. Like this card is just terrible. Like what is interesting about this card? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it, and I'll never get it because I obviously am too dumb to understand. You know, they're the ones that print the cards. They're the ones that design the cards. They can make the cards good. You know, I just don't get it. Next card is Bounty Wrangler. 3 mana, 3/4, quick drop, or combo. Get a coin. Or. Why does this not say and combo? I don't know. If this said and, it would be a broken card. But because it says or, there's no reason to play this card. It's fringe playable. The reason that it's not worthless will come up. But it's just not a very good card by any means. The next card is Shell Game. 3 mana, spell, get a random epic, rare, or common card from other classes. This card's bad. This is one of the worst Thief Rogue cards ever printed. There's no reason to play this ever. It's just not good. Why would you play this ever? Rarity ties a lot to the power level of card. So never being able to get a legendary is really bad. Uh, it's just bad card. I don't have anything else to say. It's just bad. Antique Flinger. 4 mana, 5/4, Battlecry. If you've excavated twice, destroy an enemy minion. This is the best card for excavate for Rogue. This card is why excavate is like fringe and not unplayable. Uh, yeah, I don't really have anything better to say about it. It's just fringe at best. Throw darts. Or dart throw. What? Throw two damage darts at a random enemy minion. If both hit the same minion, get a coin. This is like one of the coolest cards they've ever made. I love the concept. And if you'll get a coin if you hit the same minion. So it's pretty decent. I think it's just like decent card. You know, getting a coin's great. I don't really have anything else to say about it. But this card I do. Wishing Well. I didn't, yeah. 5 mana, 0/7. After you play a coin, get a random legendary minion from another class and set its cost to 1. You are like 2/3 more likely to get a good statted high cost legendary than you are to get a low cost legendary. And, this card gives you coins. You have Mailbox Dancer to get coins. You have Counterfeit Coin. You have Loan Shark to get coins. You have the new Partner card, 2 mana card to get neutral card to get coins. You do have Bounty Wrangler, but this card's like weak to get coins. You have so many ways to get coins in Rogue, so you'll just have a really, really good turn uh, with this, or you'll have really good 2 turns because if you get enough minions, you'll just do it the next turn as well. You have 2 boards with it or whatever. It's really strong. You want to run this card in your deck. You want to make a deck around this. It hasn't been made yet, but all the cards are revealed now, so it's interesting to think about. Velorock Windblade. 3 mana, 3/3. While this is in your hand, play 3 cards. While this is in your hand, play 3 cards from other classes to reveal Velorock's true form. Velorock the Deceiver. 3 mana, 3/6 charge. After this attacks, discover a card from another class, cost 3 less. It is a decent card. I can't really say anything bad about it because it's just, 3 mana, 3/6 charge is good. But it's not like a good card, mainly because Thief Rogue is just always not that great and wild. I don't really have anything else to say about it. Just how it is. That means Drilly the Kid, 4 mana, 4/3 mech, Battlecry, Quick Draw, and Death Rattle, Excavated Treasure. This is decent. I don't know why I put that there. It's decent, It's 3 activators to get a treasure, which makes this a thing, and that's why the Scorpion is the way it is so that you play with this. But meh. Just meh. It's just a meh card. It's just decent. I can't really say anything else. Shaman. Shaman, Shaman, Shaman. Cactus Gutter. 2 mana, 2/2. Murloc. Battle Cry, draw a spell. If you cast it this turn, gain +1/+2 and taunt. This card goes into Even Shaman. This card goes into Murloc Shaman. This card probably goes into Shudder Shaman. Woo, this card's good. You draw a Trusty Companion. This card right here. Play it on this. You draw. It becomes a 5/7 for 4 mana that draws you another card. So it drew 2 cards. You play this with Totemic Might or Totemic Surge. It becomes a 2 mana 3/4 that gives your minions +2 attack or +2 health. It's crazy. Frostbite, Crackle, Devolve, all these 2 mana spells that you love for Even Shaman. You just play it with this. Card is insane. So insane. Dehydrate. 3 mana, Lifesteal. Deal 4 damage to a minion. Quick Draw costs 1. This is like worse than I-Beam. It's like fringe playable, I think. Like, it's just so much worse than I-Beam is. And I-Beam already isn't that great of a card anymore. I don't really have anything good to say about this card. It's just, it is a card, right? I'm sorry, I just don't have anything good to say about it. Living Prairie. Battlecry. If you played an elemental last turn, summon 2 3/3 cows with brush. 5 mana, 5/4. It's decent. It's a lot of stats. You can cheat it out a little earlier with things like Kindling Elemental, or the Gavel, because Gavel makes Battlecries cost 2 less. That might be decent enough to run this card. If you can drop it on like turn 3, it's a lot of stats, but it's just not an amazing card. Elemental Shaman's kind of mediocre at best. Meh. Again, like a lot of the other decent cards, it's just meh. I don't really have anything else to say about it, to be honest. 2 mana, Nature Spell, Amphibious Elixir. Restore 5 health, discover a spell. Minecart Cruiser. 3 mana, 4/5, Rush, Overload 2. Battlecry, if you played an elemental last turn, don't overload. This card's pretty good. It's decent. This is a crap ton of stats, shit ton of stats, fuck ton of stats, whatever you want to say it, with Rush for 3 mana, an elemental deck that's going to have played an elemental on turn 2, most likely. Yeah, what else do I say? It's just a decent card. I don't have anything else to say about it. Tumbleweed. Giant Tumbleweed. 7 mana. Deal 6 damage to all minions. Summon a 6/6 Tumbleweed nature spell. Uh, the spells in Shaman have to do a lot to be ran because battle cries are so much better, 9 times out of 10. So this card just doesn't really do anything. I don't really have anything else to say for it. It's like Harmonic Pop, but +1 mana. And Harmonic Pop is not that great in Wild anyway. So why would you play this? Trusty Companion. Here we go. 2 mana. Give a minion +2/+3. If it has a minion type, draw one of that type. Yep. You guys remember Doggy Biscuit? This is better than Doggy Biscuit. Doggy Biscuit sees play. You play it on a Murloc. You play it on an Elemental. You play it on a Totem. You play it on a Beast from Living Prairie. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. It's just a really good card. It's 2 mana, 2/3, draw a card. You play this in Even Shaman. You play it in Murloc Shaman. You play it in Elemental Shaman. You play it in, I don't know, Beast Shaman or Undead Shaman. Just whatever. You play it in every single tribal Shaman deck. No matter what. Walking Mountain. So I'm putting it in Fringe playable because Walking Mountain is 9 mana 4/6, Rush, Lifesteal, Mega Wind Fury, Overload 2, Elemental. This is a Fringe card in Big Shaman because it's just worse than Neptulon in every possible way. Big Shaman already has Neptulon as its elemental that you're getting from Thunderbringer. Of course, if you don't draw, or if you draw a Neptulon, Walking Mountain might be decent because of like recursion, but eh, meh, it's just not. It's not better than already a good card, and having to argue like, oh, what if you draw that good card just for its inclusion in a deck that's made for high rolling? Because Big Shaman is a high roll deck already. So if you low roll, you low roll anyway, and you'll probably lose anyway. So it's not like it matters really. I just don't think this card's very good. Dr. Holiday. It's just a good card, right? Like, 5 mana 4/5 battle cry. If your deck has no duplicates, equip the Staff of the 9 Frogs, Staff of 9 Losses, whatever you want to call it. This card isn't. How do I word this? The card itself is bad, but it will see play in Reno Shaman, so I'm putting it in the good tier. It doesn't really do all that much. It gives you a 2/9 weapon. After your attack, summon one frog with taunt. Each frog thread lasts whatever you want to, whatever. That's not a good effect. It's like a decent effect, but the card is going to be ran in Reno Shaman no matter what, just because it's a lot of stuff that it does, and it's the Reno card for a Reno deck. Who could have guessed? Um, yeah, that's all I can really say about it. It's just okay enough, I guess. Oh, and Scar, the Catastrophe. 7 mana. Battlecry. Deal 1 damage to all enemies. Improved by each turn in a row. You've played an elemental. 7/7 elemental. There's a world that this is ran in Shutterwalk Shaman. You play elementals in Shutterwalk Shaman. You get this to like 5 or 6, and every single time you play Shutterwalk, it deals damage. The thing is that Murlocs are so much better in Shaman anyway that you don't care. So it's probably Fringe playable. And then you have Astalor to do all the damage that you need from your Shutterwalks. So it's just kind of not that great. Disposal Assistant. 2 mana, 3/2. Battlecry and Death Rattle. Put a Barrel of Sludge on the bottom of your deck. Here's Barrel of Sludge. 2 mana, Fell Spell. Whenever this is played, discarded, or destroyed, deal 3 damage to the lowest health enemy. Disposal Assistant is probably Fringe, right? The deck seems mediocre at best. I don't really know why you would ever play it. It's just okay. It's an okay card. That's all I can really say for it. Like, it kind of just depends on if the deck works, and the deck doesn't look like it'll work. So, yeah. Furnace Fuel. 4 mana fire spell. Whenever this is played, discard, destroyed, whatever. Draw 2 cards. Um, you cut Hand of Gul'dan in discard Warlock for this card because this card does not cost 5 or more mana. Doesn't matter if it draws you 1 less card. It doesn't cost 5 or more mana, so it doesn't ruin Soul Barrage from your merchants, your expired merchants. Yeah. What else would you play with this card? You know what I mean? It's just a good card. I don't have anything better to say about it. Uh, Waste Remover, 4 mana, 7/7 demon. At the end of your turn, destroy the bottom 3 cards of your deck. It's supposed to synergize this. I think just friend, right? There's a world where this card gets ran in like a demon zoo lock, and you don't really care about destroying the bottom 3 cards of your deck. But meh, meh, meh. That's all I can really say about it. And then, destroying Barrels of Sludge is not that good of an effect. Like, yeah, it could deal 9, it could deal 9 damage to the lowest health enemies on top of that, but it's just not that good. The cards that put the barrels there are pretty bad. That's all I can really say. Fracking. 1 mana. Look at the bottom 3 cards of your deck, draw and destroy one of those cards. So it's like OG tracking, but dredge worthy. Works with dredge, I guess. It could. This card also could literally say dredge, but it's not Sunken City, so they're not gonna put it. But whatever. The card's bad. They're all gonna go in fringe playable because like they do something. They actually do something, and like it could be an okay deck in the future if they print more sludge support, but they probably won't. It's a 1 expansion mechanic. It's just not that great. I don't really know. I don't really know what else to say about it. So that's it. Sludge on Wheels. 3 mana, 1/5. Rush. Whenever this takes damage, get a barrel of sludge and add 1 to your bottom of your deck. Meh. Mediocre card. Again, just goes with the whole package. They're all just fringe. You can do it. The cards at least synergize, right? They do synergize together, unlike a lot of these cards that don't have synergy at all with anything. But so that's why they're here. They don't really synergize, or they're just not like worse versions of other cards. But yeah, I think it's fair to put like this package right here. What's the next one? Moarg Drill Fist. 4 mana, 4/5, Mech Demon, Taunt, Death Rattle, Excavated Treasure. Good. Good card. 4/5 Taunt is already fine. It's a demon, so you could like cheat it out or do stuff with it. That's fine. Excavating a Treasure is great in Warlock because of this card. Put it up here. Want to run this card? Yeah, that's right, Snake. 4 mana, 5/5 Battle Cry. Your hero steals 10 health from the enemy hero. That means when you play it, you go to 40 max health and they go to 20 max health. Holy shit, this card, dude, is so strong. People are already theory crafting OTKs with this card that happen as early as turn 5. Nuts card. I don't know what else to say. It's just a good card. This is a good card. This is why. Whoa! Smokestack. Deal 1 damage to a minion if it dies. Excavated Treasure. Whoa! No way! Same exact reason. I don't really have to talk about it. It's just the same thing. Trolley Problem. Discard your lowest cost spell. Summon 2 3/3 tramp cards with Rush. Quick draw, don't discard. Decent. You might run this in Reno Warlock. You might run it in Discard Warlock. You run it in whatever this garbage Warlock is. It's just a good card. I don't really have anything better to say about it. The trolleys are also mechs. It's just a decent card. Popgar. Popgar the Putrid. Your fell spells cost one less and have life steal. Get two barrels of sludge. Battle cry. 4 mana 2/6. There are so many fell spells in Warlock that if you give them -1 cost and lifesteal, it makes them really good. You have like Rain of Fire, it turns into Spirit Lash. That's crazy. And it's 0 mana Spirit Lash at that. This card's good. I don't really understand why people don't think this card is good. It's just kind of nuts. Plus getting 2 barrels of sludge, play this on 6, they're both gonna cost 1. So you can and they'll heal you 3 or whatever. You can also summon a copy of this with Reverberations, I think it's called, the 3 mana spell, the Mage Warlock dual class card. And yeah, do I need to say more? Anyway, card's just decent. Tram Conductor Jerry, 7 mana 4/4. Battle cry if you've excavated twice, summon 6 3/3 tram cards with rush. Huh? What? Uh-oh. What did I just do? I don't know where this went. I'm pretty sure it went in fringe. Yeah, Jerry's a good card. I think it was right here. Jerry's a good card. It's Sociologist Militia that has a much better requirement, synergizes with the Broken card, and yeah, it's just a good card. I don't have anything else to say about it. It's just really strong. Not many left. One class and then neutrals. Battle Pickaxe. Want to run this card. 3 mana, 4/1 weapon. After you play a taunt minion, gain +1 durability. You play this with Dread Corsair. You play it with Target Dummy. It's 0 mana. They get plus durability. This card's crazy good. The Taunt Warrior package is pretty good this expansion. A lot of people are really excited for it. I'm excited for it. It's going to be a new aggro deck that's coming into the expansion that could probably deal with even Shaman existing because of all the buffs. I'm really excited for this archetype. It's just going to be good. I don't know what else to say. Like, just going to be good. Reinforced Plating. 3 mana, gain 6 armor, excavate a treasure. Good card. You want to know why it's a good card? Click on you. Azurite Ox. 4 mana, 5/5 elemental beast. Battle cry. Discover 2 8-cost minions. Summon them. Yeah, that's really good. Really, really good. Like really, really good. These aren't ordered, by the way, any of these tiers. I'm just putting, if that wasn't obvious. Yeah, it's really strong. Like, it is an incredibly strong effect. It's so many stats. It's like Jandis Barov, but even better. You could probably get it on turn 5 or 6. So it's just really strong. I don't really have anything better to say about it. Detonation Juggernaut. 5 mana, 3/6 taunt. Battle cry, give your taunt minions in your hand +2/+2. It's a fine card. It's like decent. Probably won't see any play because it's too slow for the Theory Crafted Taunt Warrior, but it's like a fine card at best. I don't really have anything else to say, right? It's just a fine card. Blast Charge. 3 mana, destroy damage enemy minion, excavate treasure. Same thing. Same thing as Reinforced Plating entirely. Yeah, it's just a decent card. The excavate gets you the good card. So that's really all there is to it. The excavate reward's really good, so you play the card. Unlucky Powder Man. 2 mana, 2/2 undead. Taunt. Death Rattle. Give taunt minions in your hand and deck +1/+1. This is like Taunt Keleseth, but better because it doesn't have a downside or like for its requirement. This card's crazy, crazy nuts. Yep. Oh! Warrior got good cards. Who could have guessed? Yeah, Taunt Warrior looks really strong. This card is obviously the enabler for Taunt Warrior. Blast Tortoise, 6 mana, 2/7 beast, taunt, battlecry, deal damage to all enemy minions equal to this minion's attack. It's just a decent card. Doesn't really do much of anything for the Taunt Warrior, but if you're playing like a slower list that runs like Detonation Juggernaut, it's a lot. It's just crazy amount of stats. It works really good with Armageddillo. It works with Black Rock and Roll. It's just a decent card. You know, doesn't really do all that much. You know, it's not fast enough to play in this taunt aggro warrior people are talking about. Misfire, misfire. Uh, that's the Tavish quote. He says that 2 mana spell. Deal 2 and 1 damage to random minions. Quick draw, chooses targets. This is better than Shell Shot. I think this card makes the cut in like even warrior, so it's just a good card. Shell Shot is 3 mana, deal 3/2/1 to enemy minions, but 1 mana less, it doesn't matter. And obviously it has quick draw, which makes it even better because if you quick draw, you can deal 3/2/1 to 1 minion. Yeah. Yeah. Badlands Brawler, 7 mana, 4/4, Battlecry starter brawl. If you've excavated twice, this always wins. Yep. Good. Good card. Really good card. It's just Brawl on a stick that you always win. Who wouldn't want that? Brawl is too slow, or Brawl is like bad in Wild nowadays because it's a little too slow, yeah. But the fact that you don't clear every minion is why it's bad. But this clears every minion and gives you a body. Really good, really strong. I don't have anything. I don't know what else to say. Slagmaw, Slagmaw the Slumbering. 4 mana, 16 elemental beast. Rush Taunt, dormant for 8 turns. Excavate to awaken 2 turns sooner. It slots in the Excavate warrior deck, so of course it's going to be a good card. What else is there to say? Boom Boss Thogrun, 8 mana, 7/7, Battlecry, shuffle 3 TNTs into your deck. When drawn, blow up a card in the enemy hand, deck, and battlefield. The card's bad. I don't even think it's fringe playable. I think it just does nothing. Why would you ever play this card in Wild? There's better ways to do everything that it does. It turns off, Reno effects, and Reno Warrior is an okay deck sometimes with, like, Dead Man's Hand. This card's just bad. I'm sorry. Okay. Miracle Salesman. 1 mana, 2/2, Death Rattle, get a tradable Snake Oil. 0 mana, do nothing. Deal 0 damage. Yeah, this synergizes really well with spell damage, but I don't really know how you're doing this. I'm going to put this in, like, decent. Mainly just because I don't think the card really does much. But 1 mana, 2/2 body is really strong. So, yeah. Tram Mechanic. 1 mana, 2/1, Death Rattle, get a Barrel of Sludge. Need I say more? I don't really have anything else to say. It's bad. Kobold Miner. Battlecry, Excavated Treasure. Good card. It goes into Warrior, it goes into Warlock, and it goes into Death Knight. So, of course, it's a good card. Don't really gotta explain why. It's like Cabal, not Cabal, it's like Cable Lackey. Cable Rat, jeez. It's like Cable Rat, so it's just good enough. What's next? Trapdoor Spider. Where is he? Trapdoor Spider. 2 mana, 1/2 beast, stealth poisonous. After your opponent plays a minion, attack it. Really good card. This is probably the 3rd beast in Reno Hunter. Because you can play it with Ramming Mount, and then it just infinitely clears everything. As long as they can't kill it. And because it has stealth, if they don't play a minion, on turn 2 or whatever, yeah, It just automatically kills everything that gets played because ramming mount and poisonous and all that. Just good card. It's a power creep over Gangster, and Gangster is already power creep over Dread. It's just what it is. Just a good card. Whelp Wrangler, 2 mana, 2/3. At the end of your turn, get a 1/2 Whelp with taunt. Fringe playable. You might play this in like Dragon Druid. Seems bad in Dragon Druid. Don't really know where you would ever play this. You might play it in like a Token Druid. In Token Druid, whatever. You know, you get your tokens, 1/2s, taunt. Yeah, though it's not a good card. It's just like fringe playable. It might even be garbage. See no play. Probably makes more sense. Bunny Stomper. So Bunny Stomper is a decent card. It does not see play in Beast Hunter. Why does everyone tell me that? The card just doesn't do anything for Beast Hunter. The deck that this card might be in actually is Boar Rogue. You play it with Sonya Shadow Dancer and Elwyn Boar, and that's it. You know? Wait. Yeah. I'm trying to think of. There's a card that makes the boar cost one. Oh, yeah, and you play it with the 3 mana card from Barrens that makes your death rattles cost one less. Sorry, that's what I was thinking about. And then you get Sword of a Thousand Truths, and that's pretty decent. It might work. That combo might be real, and if it is real, it'll get nerfed. Blizzard doesn't want that to be a real deck, but if it exists, it will be interesting. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, Bunny Stomper on its own is just a decent card. 2 mana, 2/2, Naga, Dry Scale Deputy. Battlecry. The next time you draw a spell, get a copy of it. Meh. Doesn't really do much of anything. You might play it in Naga Demon Hunter. Seems pretty mediocre. I just don't really get where the card goes. Cactus Rager. Obviously, Cactus Rager is the best card ever printed. Haha, yeah, funny joke. Card sucks. It's 2 mana, 5/1 poison. It's a Rager card. They're all bad. I don't really have to explain that. Gold Panner. 2 mana, 1/2. At the end of your turn, draw a card. Seems decent. I don't really know what you're specifically playing this in. You could play it like Call to Arms Paladin, which would be interesting. Just seems like an okay card, you know, at best. Don't really have anything else to say about it. It's just a decent card. Greedy Partner. 2 mana, 2/3, Battle Cry. If you're holding another 2-cost card, get a coin. Oh my god! Yeah. This is a good card. It's better than the other Coin Rogue cards. I have to specify because it replaces Mailbox Dancer in Miracle Rogue almost exclusively because Mailbox Dancer has a downside that if it's on the board, they get a coin. But this doesn't. You know, this has a requirement, not a downside, unlike Mailbox Dancer. So it's just good card, you know, because Mailbox Dancer already sees play, and this might get cut. Mailbox Dancer might get cut for this card. Saloon Brewmaster, 2 mana, 2/2. Return a friendly minion to your hand. Give it +2/+2. So, if you are playing the OTK Snake Warlock deck, this card goes in the combo. But I don't know if that deck is going to be good. I think the Excavate cards are good enough to run, yes. But I don't know if that combo is real. But if the combo is real, of course, this card goes in the deck, and it's decent in the deck. Oh, I can't believe I forgot about these cards. Ogre Gang Outlaw, 3 mana, 4/4 rush, 50% chance to attack an enemy, the wrong enemy minion. It's a bad card. Sees no play in any real decks. I don't really have to talk about why it's bad. It's an ogre card. Nah, it's just not good. High Noon Duelist. 3 mana, 4/3, Death Rattle. Both players draw. Destroy the card that costs less. You don't want to play this in big decks because in big decks you're playing a small minion. You don't want to play this in most decks because if you draw like a card, you're just giving your opponent a draw. It's just not a good card. It's so bad. It just does nothing. It does literally nothing helpful at all. Horseshoe Slinger, 3 mana, 2/2 mech. Battlecry, deal 2 damage to a random enemy minion, quick draw, and one of its neighbors. Do I need to explain why this is bad? It just doesn't do anything. It just does literally nothing. I don't know. It just doesn't do anything. Like 3 mana, deal 2 damage to a minion and only with quick draw and an adjacent. Like what? This card's just so garbage. Line Dance Partner. If you're holding another 3-cost card, summon a random 3-cost minion. I like fringe play. You could probably play this in like I don't know, like Odd Hunter. You know, a deck that has no playable 3-drops already, but I mean it has 3 mana spells. It just doesn't really do much. It's not worthless. I will say it is better than all the cards in Worthless because you know it's a lot of stats. 3 mana, 3/2, average 3-cost minions like a 3/3. It's a lot of stats. You know, 6/5 in stats on top of any effects they have. Just decent. It's just like an okay-ish card. Might see a little bit of play. Gaslight Gatekeeper. 3 mana, 3/4 undead. Battlecry, shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw that many cards. Decent. No. Good. It goes in Questline Demon Hunter. It goes in a lot of decks that run Finley currently, and it's better than Finley in a lot of decks. Yeah, because it doesn't put your cards on the bottom. It's just a decent card. I don't know, or like a good card. I don't really have anything like exclusive to say about it that you guys probably haven't heard anywhere else. Decent body, decent effect, like mana cost. Yeah, it's 3 mana. It's 2 more than Finley. Whatever. It's fine. It's just a fine card. Eroded Sediment. Jeez. 3 mana, 4/3 elemental. If you played an elemental last turn, discover an elemental. From the past means nothing for wild. Card's bad. Sees no play. Why would you play this over Amalgam of the Deep ever? No idea. Rowdy Partner. 4 mana, 4/3. Oh, it's not even a 4/4. Oops. Battlecry. If you're holding another 4-cost card, deal 4 damage. Again, might see fringe play and some even decks. It's just 4 mana, 4/3, deal 4 damage is pretty decent. Like it's just decent. Not decent like as a card, but I don't know. Maybe if it was like a 4/5 or a 5/4, but it being understated definitely holds it back because the effect or the requirement is relatively tough to complete. Oh. Dang Blasted Elemental. Sorry. Uh, 3 mana, 3/3 Elemental Taunt. Death Rattle. Deal 2 damage to all minions except friendly elementals. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to think. Like, I don't think this card just. I think this card just doesn't do anything. Like, I guess Fringe is fair because you could run this in elemental decks. You could run it, but like, why would you? Maybe like maybe you could argue that just 4 mana, like this effect is just good enough that you don't have to care about elemental decks. You could argue that, but like, man, maybe I don't really know. It seems interesting enough that like if you just play this on its own, it's probably decent, but meh. Sunspot Drake, 6 mana tradable, 6/6 dragon, lifesteal, quick draw, deal 6 damage. Bounty board. Yeah, this card just it's slow, it's bad. You don't run it in literally anything. I don't get where it's supposed to go. Bounty board. 3 mana, 0/5. Your excavate, quick draw, tradable, and legendary cards cost 1 less. This is why you play Flint combos. With Flint Firearm. I'm gonna rank these guys together, actually. Where's Flint Firearm? So you can't. These cards go to, well, Flint goes with this, but Bounty Board can be played in other things. Bounty Board can be played with Flint with to the front. If you play to the front, Bounty Board, Flint will cost 0, right? That's 4 mana. I'm sorry, but like that's just an interesting effect, is it not? Like an interesting combo. 4-card combo, you can start sending damage to your opponent's face. You can start playing minions. You can start killing minions. You can refresh your mana crystals. If you play 2 to the fronts, you can make it so the Sunspot Drake, which is the kind of the issue with this combo, it's because of this card. You make Sunspot Drake cost 0. Yeah, it'll be a turn 6 combo, but like it's doable. Yeah, it's like decent. That's what Flint does. Bounty Board is better than Flint. So this can go in decent, right? But Bounty Board is better than Flint. I think it can go in good because you can play this in Mind Warlock. Uh, it reduces Tamsin. It reduces. Why can't I think of the name of the card? It reduces Tamsin's Phylactery. It reduces Wicked Shipment. That's what it's called. It reduces all of them by 1 or 2 if you have 2 of them, of course, or from reverberations, things like that. That's good, right? How would that not be good? I just don't see it. Yeah, this card's pretty good. In like Mind Warlock, and Mind Warlock was a decent deck at one point. So yeah, running a card that makes Mind Warlock better seems decent. Ogre Gang Rider, 4 mana, 3/6 rush, 50% chance to give your hero +3 attack this turn instead of attacking. So this is bad also, of course, because it's an Ogre Gang card. Actually, you know what? I think Ogre Gang cards could be fringe playable. I think it's a hot take to think that they could be kind of decent. They're just so many stats, and you can resummon them with, where is he? Kingpin Pud. 6 mana, 6/7. Battlecry, resurrect your Ogre Gang. Give them Wind Fury, dude. That's so many stats. Like, it's bad for sure, but it's just so many stats. Like, what is it, man? Like, I can't not think it's going to be at least like meme playable. Like all these cards aren't even like really memeable, right? But like this card is so memeable, you know? What's it called? Desperado or something? Snake Oil Seller. What? Salesman and Seller. Okay. 4 mana, 4/5, Death Rattle. Shuffle 2 Snake Oils into your opponent's deck. Naga. Fringe playable. It is worse than Bad Luck Albatross by a lot, by so much a lot. However, Bad Luck Albatross was a really, really good card, so I think that this card probably is just good enough. Or at least fringe playable. Where is it? Serenite, or Azurite Chain Gang. 4 mana, 2/3, taunt, Battlecry, and quick draw. Someone copy this. So Serenite Chain Gang currently sees no play in Wild. You don't play it in Shudderwock Shaman by any means. However, if Serenite Chain Gang ever came back to Wild, actually it would be Azurite Chain Gang. You know what I mean? This, can be played in like an Evolve Shaman, all these kind of different Shaman decks. It's not good currently, but in the future it could probably be good. That's why I'm putting it as fringe playable, because if you wanted to play Serenite Chain Gang in your Shudder Shaman, you would cut it for Azurite Chain Gang as of now. Burrow Buster, 5 mana, rush, Battlecry, Excavated Treasure, mech. So it's decent. It's not as good as Cobalt Miner because it's so expensive, but it's still a decent card. You probably play it in most Excavate decks. I guess that's really all I can say about it, right? It's just a lot more expensive. I guess it has decent stats, and it's like, it's a rush minion, kill something, it's fine. Howdy Finn! Howdy Finn! Howdy Finn. He's decent. Where is he? 2 mana, 2/3 Murloc. Whenever your hand has less than 3 cards in it, get a random Murloc. Yeah. It's just a good card. If you top deck Howdy Finn, and you have no cards in your hand, he instantly gives you 3 Murlocs. Really good in every single Murloc deck ever. This card will be in almost every single Murloc deck ever to ever exist for in the future. Uh, Murloc decks aren't very good currently. Murloc Shaman might be decent next expansion, and Howdyfin will go in it. But yeah, I think it's fair to put it in decent tier. We can skip that card. We can skip this card. 3 mana 1/5 Beast Gattlesnake. At the end of your turn, load 2 bullets that deal 1 damage each. Death Rattle fire at random enemies. This is so much worse than Augmented Porcupine. It is not funny, and Augmented Porcupine is a bad card. So what does that say about Gattlesnake? I don't understand what the point of this card is. I think it might have just genuinely been to make the Beast Pool worse. Like, what? Like, maybe it was just printed to make the 3 mana Beast Pool worse. Like, what else is there to say about this card? It's just horrible. Like, if it kept the bullets loaded when you trigger it with the 3 mana Ravenous Kraken, then maybe it's a funny meme. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. And then if it doesn't, it doesn't. You know? What is it called? Cattle Rustler. When this card was first released, everyone thought it was terrible. But then we see new cards that come out with it. We saw new cards that come out with it. We saw new cards that come out with it. This card, 7 mana Harrowing Ox. And then there's a combo with this where you can do a lot of jank stuff, like with Thaddeus or with Kael'thas Sinstrider. And it's just a funny, goofy card. Funny, goofy man. It's probably just good enough. It's probably just a good card, especially because you can play it with, like, Hydralodon as your beast in Hunter, and then you can play Hydralodon with Bunny Stomper, and that's kind of funny, but nah. Ogre Gang Ace. 5 mana, 5/4, Rush. Whenever this attacks, 50% chance to gain Divine Shield or Lifesteal. That's a really good effect. This is like the best one of these Ogre Gang cards for sure. This one you could argue running this just in a deck. You know, it's pretty decent. I don't think you would, but it's just okay. I don't really got anything bad to say about it. I mean, of course, it's, you know, an arena card for sure. Oh, these cards are gods in arena. These are some of the best cards ever in arena. Like this Ogre Gang package, but on its own, oh god, what's this card called? Sheriff Barrel Brim. This card's terrible. If you have 20 or less health, open the Badlands Jail. Make a minion go dormant for 3 turns. This card's terrible. Horrible bad. This never sees any play whatsoever in Wild. And if you run it in your deck, you're just not trying to win. I'm sorry. Azurite Giant. Azurite Giant's kind of decent, I think. If you play 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on turn 5 you play a minion, this will cost 3. But you could play, like, I don't know. You could play a 1 mana Elemental, then it'll cost 7. Then on turn 2, you could play like a 2 mana Elemental, it'll cost 6. Then on turn 3, you could play like Aquatic Archivist, it's called, which will make it cost 5 and then 2 less. And then you can play 5 and 2 less is 3. So then you can play Elemental Evocation, and then you can play this on turn 3. That's not consistent by any means. However, it's awesome, and I'm going to try it. I'm obviously going to try and make it work, but it's not very good. That's why I'm putting in Fringe, or in Decent, because it's just okay. You definitely run this in like an Elemental Shaman and Elemental Mage, but it's not great. Reno. Obviously, if they reprinted Reno, it's going to be, you want to run this card. 8 mana Battlecry. If your deck has no duplicates, empty the enemy board and limit it to 1 minion for a turn. It's high noon. And then his hero power is just deal 2 damage with a bunch of effects. I don't even have to talk about these. Who cares? I already talked about it in my card review. Oh, this card's so broken, dude. What the fuck is Blizzard doing? Remember how they just nerfed Yogg literally like 9 days ago? Because Druid could have used it better than every other class as a neutral AoE board clear with an upside? Yep. 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 That's what this card is. Every single Reno deck, every single one runs this card. It's so goddamn broken, especially because it says limit it to one minion. That means they can only play one minion on their board the next turn. It also removes dormant and untargetable minions. So Sargeras is instantly unplayable now. Why Blizzard did that, I don't know. It also will remove locations, it will remove everything. Why they made Sargeras completely unplayable one expansion after he came out when he's Sargeras? One of the most iconic Warcraft characters ever? I don't know. Blizzard works in mysterious ways. Sorry, Warlock players, get fucked. And lastly, the last card. The first card we got. Thunderbringer. 8 mana, 6/6 elemental beast. Taunt, death rattle, summon an elemental and beast from your deck. Everyone knows how strong this card is. Uh, it's just a very good card. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. You run this card in Big Shaman. You run this card in Big Rogue. You run this card in everything that wants big. You run this card in every big deck from now till the end of time. So good. It is a big card with taunt on its own, and then it cheats big cards. It's just so good, and we already know it's good, so of course it has to go, and you want to run this card. Yeah, I've got my tier list. I'm gonna save it. Download image. Yeah, well, to anyone watching, if you have any cards you really want to argue with me with, go ahead. I don't really think I've not made good enough arguments for these cards, especially given my categorizing for them. But yeah, this is every single card from this expansion. I will probably do this again next expansion, and it will probably also take 2 hours. I'm sorry this is a 2-hour long video. Thank you for watching if you got to this point. Like, comment, subscribe, join my Discord, follow my Twitter, all that stuff. I don't really know. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys also for supporting me this last month. This is my first month of really trying on YouTube. My channel I made in January. I made like 3 videos, but this last month of September and October and part of September has been so great. I've got like 160 something subscribers. I got 25,000 views. I've gotten so many Twitter followers. I've gotten so many people that are re-coming to my videos. This is my love letter to everyone that has watched, if you've watched it so far. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, enjoy. Peace. I am free, finally, after 2 hours.